Hi there, my name's Daniel. I'm from Transcone Trailer Sales. Today I'm going to be walking you through your 2024 Rpod 107. We are just going to start off at the back of the unit here. If you notice, you got two stabilizer jacks at the back. You also have two stabilizer jacks at the front. This guy is a smaller trailer. Whenever you are roaming around inside and you're not hooked up to your tow vehicle, I do recommend running these guys down to the ground. The way you're going to do that is you got a tool in the front compartment. We can grab it right now. You got this tool here. You're just going to hook it up to those stabilizer jack nuts. Run that foot down to the ground. Once that foot does contact the ground, you're just giving it another quarter to half a turn just to snug it up. And that's just going to take any bouncer sway you see we have in the unit right now, and it's also going to allow that front tongue jack to stay planted on the ground and not pop up if you go toward the rear of the unit. Inside this compartment, we do also have your 20-foot water hose. Once fully extended, it is about 20 feet long. Taking note of those 2 ears there. Those are going to be the same 2 ears that hook up your sewer system, which I'll show you in a minute. We do just keep this stored in this compartment here. Around this side of the unit here, you do have your waste holding tank. The only thing this is going to hold is just from that sink in the rear. The way that works is you're just going to undo this cap, connect that sewer hose. Once that sewer hose is connected, you can pop open this valve, and that's going to allow you to drain that tank for the sink in the back. Coming to the back of the unit, you are just opening up your travel latches. Pop this open. It is on a gas strut, so it is going to hold itself open. Once you got to the back here, this is kind of the main kitchen space. You do have this nice garden hose. Once to get that hooked up, you are just opening that flap. You're taking note of these two notches here. They line up with this notch on this side, and all you have to do is just push that into place, give that a twist, it locks in. And that's going to give you a usable garden hose. It does only work if your lines are pressurized or your water pump's on. It's disconnected. It's just as simple as that. You can store that underneath here. You do have your 110 fridge. This is only going to run whenever it is plugged into shore power. You got your sink with just cold water. There's no hot water in this unit. Underneath here is just some storage, and this is where we keep the propane hose for your stove. To get that stove out, you are just sliding it out all the way. You can flip open that top. You do have two splash guards on each side. To connect it, you're just disconnecting this hose. It's going to unravel. You're going to take this end and pop it onto the stove side, pulling that collar back, pushing it into place like an airline. It locks into place. You're going to open up that valve to open the flow of propane. Whenever you do have the valve open, as an added safety measure, it doesn't allow you to operate the coupler. You're going to run this line down underneath the stove and to the bottom here, where you're going to find another quick connect line. You're just going to take that dust cover off. Again, just like the one up top, pulling that collar back, pushing it into place like an airline, locks in. Take that valve, it opens up the flow of propane, and then you can come up to the top of your stove, turn those over to light, hit it with the lighter, it fires right on up. Sometimes it can take a couple minutes to start just because you have to clear the air out of the propane lines. Get it disconnected, you're just doing the same thing in opposite order, always making sure you put those dust caps back into place. That way you stop any debris from getting into the lines. Disconnecting this one on this side, because with it connected, it will not allow the stove to go all the way back into place. Raveling this guy up. I always just connect it back into itself just to stop any debris from getting in there. Pop it away underneath the stove again. Just have this magnetic cover. You can slide that stove back into place. You do have 110 plug back here as well as two lights. You're just on that switch. This is a GFI plug. It is GFI protected. This sink is only going to drain whenever you have that valve open, by the way. There is no holding tank. You do have a 2-inch receiver back here as well if you're wanting to tow something small or have a small bike rack. On this side of the unit, you do have the main power plug-in. Just taking note of that here, that notch there, it lines up with this notch here. You're just lining those two guys up, pushing it into place, giving it that 8th turn to lock it in, and then that threaded collar behind it just to really lock it down. And if you follow that back, you do have your standard 30 amp plug end. Most campsites should have this and you can plug right on in, but let's say you have the unit at home on the driveway and you want to run the fridge, or you don't, or your campsite doesn't have 30 amp service. We do include a 15 amp park adapter, just whenever you're going down to 15 amps of power, you wouldn't be able to run something like your air conditioner. Whenever you do plug this plug in, you got 2 lights right at the top, a green light and a red light. Red light would be telling you have a bad power source. There's also a little legislative tag attached to it, which will tell you what's going on, judging by the lights. On this side, you do have an entry door. I'll show you that on the other side though, to get inside. At the front, you got your fresh water connection. The way that works is you're gonna take this knob, put your garden hose in there, turn it on. It's gonna fill your fresh water tank. That's what your fresh water runs off of. Let's say you're at a site with service and you can just thread a garden hose into here, turn it on. It's gonna pressurize all the lines without needing to run your hot water tank. And then underneath the floor on this side is gonna be your fresh water drain. You're just loosening that cap off, pulling that off. It's gonna allow the tank to drain. And then right behind the rear tire, you have the roll point drain, which is just a little valve, and you just turn it to open it up, and that's just gonna drain all the water that's inside that one line there. Getting to the front of the unit, you got your battery box. This is what hoses your battery. And inside this cover here, just flipping this back, you got your main propane tank. To open up that, you just opening it up like a standard style propane tank. You do have this little nut on the back here. This does just hold this cover down. To get that off, you are just loosening this off, pulling that nut off, and you're able to slide that cover forward a little bit, and you can pull it right off if you were to want to change this tank. You got your tongue jack up front. One way is up, the other way is down. And then to get inside, you are just opening up this handle. You can open up your door. Another thing I'll mention, to get the spare tire down, you are just going to connect the socket down on this guy. You got a safety chain that holds that tire on as well that you have to undo. And then you're just connecting a socket down on here. You're going to start loosening that guy off, and it'll allow the tire to lower to the ground. Once you get inside, all the lights inside the unit are just on their own center push buttons right on the ceiling. Minus the one you have on the wall. This is a 2-way switch. Pushing that guy down will turn the lights on the rear here, the little porch light on amber, and pushing it up will turn it on regular. You got your little monitor panel here, which will tell you your battery level, which goes low, fair, good, and charging. And then you got your fresh tank level, which is empty, 1/3, 2/3, and full, with your little water pump switch right next to it. You do have an LP detector inside here. If this guy were to ever start going off, you are just going to want to turn off the main supply of propane at the front of the unit and just open up the windows just to try and ventilate it out a little bit. Inside, you do have these nice tables, which do also fold down if you were to want to do so. You just having to release those safety latches and allow those guys to fold down. On the wall there, you do have your breaker panel. You're just pushing that guy to unlock it. It'll fold down. You got all your fuses on your right. Whenever a fuse blows, there'll be a little red indicator light telling you which one's blown. And whenever a breaker trips, it's going to sit in the middle, so you do just have to turn it off and then back on again to reset it. You got your air conditioner on your right here. To turn it on, it is just the bottom right button. You got your different modes on your left. You could go dry, fan, which is just fan. Dry is going to be the air conditioner and the fan kicking in and out as needed to try and take as much humidity out of the air. You got auto, and then you got cool. You got your fan selection on your right, which goes auto, low, medium, and high. Whenever it's on auto, it's going to pick the best fan speed based on the temperature in the room. You got your temperature selection and your timer selection up on top here. You can turn the timer on just by hitting this little button here. It'll turn the timer on or off. You got a sleep button, and then you do have a little check filter light here. If that were to come on, you do just have to pull this front cover off and just check that filter behind there. And then you do have an energy saver mode as well. Again, the table on this side works the same way as it does on that side. You're just taking those travel latches, flipping them down. That'll allow that table to then make its way down. You do have your main GFI plug on the back wall there. If you ever have an outlet that doesn't work, this would be the first place I'd look. You got test on the bottom, reset up top. Whenever that green light's on, it is telling you have a successful connection. For winterization, there is this little false panel here. You're just going to loosen those 4 screws off. This false panel is going to pull out, and you get access to your water pump for winterization. Up in here, you do have your TV, which if you flip that back around, you do have storage back there, as well as your antenna switch. So whenever you have that antenna on, it's also going to improve radio frequency. It's just a little black button there, probably hard to see in the video, but you could feel it once you get back there. You do have a 12-volt plug-in, cigarette style plug-in, and also 2 110 plug-ins. And then you do just have your little fireplace down below here. You got the power button on your right. Right next to that, you can change your different flame colors. The button next to that will change your rock color, light color. And then you get into your heater option, which you got low and high. And then you do just have a timer on that last button there, and it could go anywhere from 30 minutes to 9 hours. And then just the power button again to turn it off. There's that 15 amp park adapter I told you about earlier, as well as your little exterior. I'll pull it outside so I can show you how that goes up. So it does go up just like a tent, like a regular tent, and then you do have these suction cups that go on the wall here. So you're gonna push that down like so, push that down, that's gonna lock that into place, allowing you to then connect your little canopy to it. Just always making sure you got that guy applied on there nice.
Too much water?
Too much water, probably, yep. But once it's on there, it is on there. And this guy does just have little clips on it, which connect onto there. And then you do have pegs that can go to secure the other side of the tent down. That's going to be it for this guy here. If you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call.